Hey everyone, Anthony Scott here at ToyHypeUSA.com. Today I am taking a look at Mattel's newly released Masters of the Universe Origins cartoon collection Modulok figure, which is part of She-Ra Princess of Power 40th anniversary line. Special shout out and thank you to site sponsor Entertainment Earth for sending him along for review. It's greatly appreciated. To buy this figure, please use our hyperlinks off of ToyHypeUSA.com. That would greatly help us out, or you can use the links right in the YouTube description below. He is selling out fast because apparently he is very popular, so I would grab him now while he is available. He comes in a brown shipping box, which you see here. Here's a look at all sides. There's a little bit more on that side. On the side here is a breakdown of everything that's included inside this figure, all of these interchangeable parts, which you guys see there. And on the other side, you have more artwork of the character and the logo. Modulok comes in the standard Masters of the Universe window box, and on the cover here, you have various poses of the figure. What I personally love about this character is that there's no right way to display him. There are basically unlimited combinations of how to pose him and display him. So this is definitely one of the cooler characters in the line. Also on the cover here, you have the Ultimate Transforming Creature, Masters of the Universe logo, the She-Ra 40th Anniversary logo on the upper right there. And again, a ton of different pose abilities to showcase the figure. 34 body parts, create 1,000+ monsters. On the sides here are some additional ways to pose this figure. And again, there is no right way to pose him. You can create your own monster if you choose. Here is another look. And on the back, you have some beautifully done artwork showcasing not just Modulok and She-Ra, but various other characters as well, including the Rock Warriors. You have a description and you have a look at some of his features. I am going to take him out of packaging now, and let's take a closer look. Behind the plastic tray is a piece of paper showcasing all of the accessories. I can't promise that I'm going to display him in every pose that's on the box, but I am going to do a lot of different builds. There are no instructions for how to do these builds, so you're just going to have to look at the pictures and try to recreate them. Here is a look at the plastic tray. As you can see, everything is nicely placed in here. The figure looks good, as well as all the interchangeable parts. I'm going to take them out of packaging now, and let's take a closer look. Going back to the sheet of instructions, I forgot to specify that there is a tip for using this figure and for using all of these interchangeable parts. The tip is on the upper right-hand side here, and it says the joints indicated with dotted circles are non-detachable. Do not attempt to pry these joints off from the toy parts or use excess force when removing the toy parts connected to them. That will likely break apart, and you definitely don't want to do that. So it's specifying that every joint with the dotted circles here is what it's talking about. So don't use excess force when using these particular parts. Right out of the box, Modulok looks like this, with 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 heads. This is one of his most familiar forms, and that is why Mattel started off with this. Here is a look at the figure on all sides. The articulation would be standard for the line. However, he would probably have the most level of articulation given how many parts he has. I'm not going to go over every part of articulation as I create new variations of this character, but for this part of the articulation, he would have ball-jointed heads, ball-jointed neck here, ball-hinged shoulders, swivel-hinged elbows, swivel-hinged wrists, swivel waist, ball-jointed hips, swivel-hinged knees, hinged and rocker ankles. And as you keep going, he would have more points of articulation. Here, I went ahead and only attached one head by removing the neck piece. And on the back, I went ahead and attached the tail. Here I swapped out the head and the legs. Here is a look at one of his more menacing forms. This uses most of the parts included in the packaging, and he can hold both the blasters using all 4 arms, all 6 legs, and various other parts. Here is a look at all sides. In this form, the 2 back legs are a little bit prone to falling off, so just be aware of that. While I have him in this form, I'm going to compare him with some previously offered Modulok figures. This is the Masters of the Universe Classics Edition, released from Mattel. Here is a look at the back of the figures. Here is the Modulok figure released from Super 7. Keep in mind that he is also inspired from the Filmation series, so this new Origins figure is not the first time we're getting a cartoon version of this character. As you can see, there are vast differences between these 2 figures. The MOTU Classics one was strictly based on the animated series, and this new figure is also paying a homage to the vintage toy, but in Filmation style. Here is a look at the back of the figures. Modulok also includes a shield, and there is the Horde logo in 2 different spots on the shield. One is right on the top there, one is just below it, upside down. And I went ahead and switched up the arms. Here is another form, this time with 4 legs and 2 arms and 2 heads. This is quite an interesting form that the box showcases on the front. What I noticed is that the box shows it with 6 legs, however, there aren't enough parts to display him with 6 legs. You'll have to buy a whole new Modulok figure to make that work. But I went ahead and just added 2 extra legs in the back, which you see there. One thing I love about this character is that he doesn't need a head. You can just use the limbs as shown. This is also featured on the box, and I think this is a great look for the character, considering he doesn't need a head. Just use some arms, some legs, some various other parts, and you can create something cool like this. Here, I went ahead and created something very similar to what's on the box, but I used 2 tails, 4 legs, and some various other parts. This is another neat form with 4 legs and 1 head. Here is a look at another one of his bizarre forms with both heads on the side, 2 legs, and the tail sticking up on top. This form here is quite interesting with the arms on the bottom there, holding them up with the legs in front of them. There's also an extra set of arms up on top. The heads are a bit too close for my liking, but that is the way it looked on the packaging. When assembling this one, that one of the heads would fall off, so just be aware that if you decide to display him in this form, it might be a little bit tricky. Here is a form of his with no heads. Instead, he has 2 arms up on top there, 2 arms at the sides, and 4 legs. This form is quite interesting with 4 legs on the bottom, 2 arms up on top. The head and torso are upside down as shown. Here is a similar form, but with 2 legs. He also has 2 arms up on top there. The head and torso are still upside down. Here is a similar form, but with 2 heads. Here is another look of my favorite form for this figure with 6 legs, 4 arms, and this time around, I went ahead and attached both blasters as they can connect, and there's a look at that. I also went ahead and put the shield on. My favorite Horde member is Mantena, and here is a look and comparison with Filmation Mantena in the Origins line. Here is a comparison with Filmation 2Bad. Here is a comparison with concept art Hordak and Grizzler, which are not yet released. These are coming in 2025. Here is a comparison with Filmation Hordak. And finally, here is a comparison with Filmation She-Ra. Modulok is a great figure I think fans are going to love. He is an essential Horde member, so you're definitely going to want to pick him up and add him to your collection. You can do so at site sponsor Entertainment Earth. Just head over to toyhypeusa.com, click off those hyperlinks, and head over to their website. 10% off any in-stock item and free shipping any U.S. order, $79 plus. Modulok is priced at $29.99, but our readers will get him for 10% off if he's listed as in stock. Thank you once again to site sponsor Entertainment Earth for sending him along for a review. It's greatly appreciated. I am Anthony Scott. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more news and reviews.